Nobody calls Han Solo a bitch.
Bring him on. I prefer a straight fight to all this sneaking around.
I don't know where you get your delusions, laser brain.
Oh, come on, bro. It's the wars.
Well, it's been a while, but holy crap, we're back. This is The Wars and More. I'm Joe. Of course, with me is my good buddy Doug. Hey, Doug, how you doing?
I'm doing better now, I think. I hope so.
It's been a while.
Yes. I had some...
It's been a while. Unfortunately, our technical difficulties and stuff we talked about before didn't get much better.
No, they got worse.
They got worse, and scheduling conflicts just got worse.
Yes.
So it's been a minute. Definitely the longest break we've taken in the history of the show.
Yeah, that's true.
Not even on purpose.
I know. Yeah.
It would have felt a lot better if we did it on purpose.
Yeah, for sure, because we could have said, hey, it'll be a little longer.
Could be a minute. Could be a minute. We need a minute.
Right.
We need to breathe.
Yeah.
No, that's not the way it went down.
No, it was
It was a forced vacation.
Smoking computers and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, the real exciting way.
Yes.
So, but all right, I mean, at least we're getting it back together at the right time, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's still nothing yet, but I mean, Ahsoka's coming.
It's coming, right? Yeah.
I guess that's the one blessing we can take away from all this, right? We had these issues at a time where Star Wars news was very, very far and few between.
Exactly.
Not a lot going on.
Yeah, I mean, I do look at that as a blessing, that's for sure, because if this would have happened, 2 weeks into Ahsoka being on air, I'd have been pulling my hair out, dude.
Oh yeah, that would have been frustrating. Frustrating for sure.
Yeah,
because here we have all this material and all these things to talk about, and granted, I will say this: it did come at a time where we're the wars and more. We've not done a good job of being the wars and more.
Right. Exactly. That is true.
So it was at a time where there was a lot of other stuff going on we could have been talking about.
Right.
And comes right back on, and we got to get right back to Star Wars because we're getting back into the heat of it.
Yeah.
For a minute. Because this writer's strike and now joined by the Screen Actors Guild, this may complicate matters.
It may.
We might have Ahsoka and be waiting for a while.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a I don't know. Could be some dark times for entertainment, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, what blew me away is I didn't realize the writer's strike has been going on for just a little over 3 months?
It's something like that, yeah.
That's a hell of a strike.
Sure. Yeah.
It's a long time, man. They wouldn't let the commercial food workers go that long.
Right.
UPS, they did everything they could to stop it.
That's right. It's funny.
Writers are like, screw it.
I remember, God, years ago, it's got to be going on 25 years or so. There was a strike similar in nature. And it was like the true birth of reality TV. I think at the time we had the Real World, prior to the strike. Then we had the strike, and then there was nothing but reality TV on every channel. And it was horrible. I was like, oh man. And here we are today, still with all of this reality TV.
Well, I mean, that's all TV is now.
Exactly.
If it wasn't for streaming, we'd be screwed.
Yeah, good point.
I think that's why streaming became as popular as it is, because turn on TV and it's just nothing but reality TV garbage.
Right.
And I say that honestly, it's garbage.
I mean, come on. You have a closet bachelor addiction, I'm sure, don't you? I mean,
I don't think I've ever watched an episode.
I know I haven't, so okay, that's good. All right. That is hilarious.
I mean, I'm trying to think. Like, have I ever watched an episode of The Bachelor? I don't think I have.
No, me neither.
I don't want to lie about this.
Right.
I did watch an episode or two of The Bachelorette.
Oh, okay. Now, I will say I've never seen that either. So, there's
That was on X.
on accident.
Yeah.
I was drunk.
Yeah, you like
I
you
lost
like
a
doze
bet.
off on the couch
Right.
and you wake up in the middle of it and you just keep watching because
You don't want to move.
I mean, what else you gonna do? Just passed out on the couch.
Right.
So you watch.
That's funny. Now, on the other hand, Lo is a huge Big Brother fan, so there's that. But
Oh, man, that's one of the worst. I have watched that one,
it can be, yeah.
and the Big Brother to me is a lot like watching Real World or
Yeah.
House Rules. You remember House Rules?
Oh yeah, that was yeah.
Oh man, like the most obviously scripted crap.
Right.
I mean, come on. Yeah, okay, people have drama. They
Yes,
don't have
but
this much drama.
if there's not enough of it, it doesn't make for good television. So
Right. Like Jersey Shore, right?
right.
Like that was not on accident.
Never saw an episode of that either. So
Oh, there was a kick in this house. It wasn't me, but
okay, gotcha.
there was a short little kick jaunt in this house where we watched it a little bit,
Okay.
and ew. I'm just watching. I was like, you realize this isn't real, right?
Right. None of this is
Like-
real. Yeah.
No one acts like this, and if they do, they shouldn't be famous.
Right.
Like it was just, ugh. No one fights that much.
Exactly.
So
But even in lieu of this strike going on, the Star Wars connection is Andor is still filming.
oh, he sensed a boycott.
Well, I guess you would call it the equivalent to the SAG-AFTRA is it's called Equity. It's the British Acting Union, and apparently the Equity
They call it
performers
equity.
Equity, yeah, I know. I thought that was an odd name, but okay.
Especially for British.
Yeah,
But
right. Apparently, the Equity performers have been told that they risk being sued for breach of contract if they walk off in solidarity with the American colleagues. So, they are still on set at Pinewood, filming what they can with those actors for Andor, while all of the SAG members are on the picket lines. So,
right, and well, the whole reason they risk lawsuit is because they're probably still under contract,
absolutely.
whereas SAG's contract did expire.
Right.
So this is why they can now join the strike.
Yes.
And this isn't. I don't want to go too much into this stuff, but I got a little bit.
Hey, that's okay.
Like-
Let's do it.
This idea of a strike because there's another strike, not because you're not necessarily getting what you want, is really strange.
Right.
Like So the Screen Actors Guild joining the Writers Guild because the Writers Guild don't have a deal yet. Aren't you separate unions?
I thought so.
Like, isn't your union supposed to be out for your union's interest? Like,
right.
I mean, I'm just kind of looking at it. Like, if you want to bust unions, this is the best way to do it.
Yeah.
Because everyone else is going to go, well, I guess they're just a bunch of crap.
Right.
Because they're not even out for their people. They're out for other people, other union. Like, what? Is it a union or a political party? I don't get it. Like,
yeah. I don't know. Some of the concerns, I mean, I don't know.
The concerns are ridiculous. I don't want to say ridiculous, but they're ridiculous.
To a certain degree, I'm going to agree with you. I can see how some people can, how do I put this? I can see where the concerns are, but in a lot of cases, I think it's unwarranted, you know?
When you have people coming out and speaking for the Screen Actors Guild, right?
Yep.
And they're like, we want to make sure that the writers and stuff are getting a livable wage. Right. I'm like, you're the Screen Actors Guild.
Right.
What the hell does it got to do with the writers? I get it. You're standing in solidarity. But that's your demand for the Screen Actors Guild? Like, this union can't make that other union make a deal.
Right.
Like, it's not the way it works. And then the next thing is, we got to make sure AI doesn't take our jobs.
Yeah.
Well, first off, I would like to mention that the Writers Guild, just take a shot at the Writers Guild here.
Right.
They're the ones writing the jokes for all the late night shows that are making fun of all of us regular people bitching about self-checkout.
Right.
So
yeah, exactly.
You're really making fun of us for self-checkout. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm going to start making fun of you because you're complaining about AI. Look, you got to get with the times.
Yeah.
This is the way technology is going.
Yeah, that's
right.
It's the way technology is going. Okay. And there's going to have to.
I'm being facetious.
I get it. This is where I'm of two minds, though. So when you have the big, up in lights headlining actors, they don't have to worry about AI too much, right? It's all the background characters, the people who are, they haven't hit it big yet, but they're, they go on set for 2 days, in a movie shoot, and they're walking down the street or whatever, Those are the ones who are just kind of like blurry in the background in a scene that could be replaced with AI. Which, yes, as Star Wars fans, we know can happen. I mean, look at all those clones in Episode 3.
You mean those weren't real?
No.
What? Oh, they should have went on strike.
Yeah.
They should have stopped CGI in his tracks.
Uh-huh.
This is bullshit.
Yeah. Thanks, George. Right. Yeah.
This is why I make the jokes. Right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Look, like I said, they're the ones writing the jokes on late night shows that are making fun of us. So
yeah, absolutely.
Because I'll be honest, like, why do I have to go through a self-checkout lane and then have someone stop me at the door to make sure I did it right?
Yeah, there's that. Oh my gosh, yes.
And then not issue me a paycheck.
Right.
Exactly.
I don't know what all of this, in my opinion, what it boils down to is it's an evolution in entertainment. It's an evolution in technology. It's an evolution in technology in entertainment. I mean,
right.
We're going to have to get through this. And ultimately, I think what it's going to do is it's going to make productions cheaper in the long run. And, if those writers want to like start telling some really good stories, they'll be able to tell more of them because it's cheaper to do. So, I mean, there's trade-offs,
You know, I'll tell you why they're so afraid. Because all they've been doing is regurgitating old stories.
That's right.
You know what's real easy for AI?
Regurgitating old stories?
Yeah, it's weird, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
So, hey, I have an idea. Be AI, be original.
Right. Exactly. No, it takes effort, but
Yeah.
you can do it.
I understand you're gonna have to put in some hours.
Right.
No, y'all are against that.
Right. That's too funny.
I don't know what to say anymore. Like the demands that keep coming out, I'm just like, you guys have been making fun of us. And like I said, the late night shows are the easy target here.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Because they're the ones that love to do it.
Right.
Like, hey, if it wasn't for technology, we still have elevator attendants.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. And horse and buggy drivers and all that, or whatever.
Yep,
Yeah.
Exactly. So, get with the times, embrace it, work with it.
Yep. It's going to happen.
That'd be the best thing. It was like be the guy that like goes out there and works with it.
Right. Yes. You have to think of new and inventive ways to work that into your skill sets in the industry and innovate. That's what somebody like Bob Iger is looking for. He's looking for the people who are thinking new, fresh ways.
I think right now they're looking at it as like, hey, why should we pay these people? Our industry might actually be dead.
Right.
I mean, Indiana Jones is about to lose money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's Avatar is not doing what they want.
No.
It's
they got a lot of what should have been blockbusters getting busted. That's for sure.
Yeah. Instead, they're getting their asses kicked by Barbenheimer.
Barbenheimer, yes. That is funny. I have to say, my daughter did do that.
The Barbenheimer thing?
Oh, she went and saw Oppenheimer and then Barbie, yes. She went with friends.
So she did Oppen Barbie.
Yeah. But she definitely said, yeah, watch Oppenheimer first, then Barbie, because, yeah, if you do it the other way around, you just be depressed. So I'm not so sure that's the way it would depress you, but, I'm just saying.
Yeah. Why would Oppenheimer depress you? Like,
oh, come on now.
Why?
Really?
I don't understand why it'd be depressing.
Bombs? I don't.
Hey, what's done is done.
It's true. That's true. But
it's not like it's like in progress. Like
it's called history, right?
Like, what's depressing is the standoff right now with the crap he created. Sure,
yeah,
but like, what happened there? I mean, if you look at it the right way, I mean, yeah, was it bad? Sure, but did it stop what could have been way worse?
Yeah. All that's been debated for a long time. It's
subjective. Right. It's subjective.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's really subjective. Subjective is not the right word. Debatable, yes. Subjective, no.
Right.
Could it have been worse?
Yes.
Most likely, yes. But was it bad? Sure.
Welcome to the End of World War II podcast.
Right. Hey, man, it's like, there ain't no Star Wars, so
I know.
I just like the Oppenheimer was depressing.
Yeah.
First off, I'm gonna go down even more of a rabbit hole here. So it's depressing.
Yeah.
First off, you didn't know?
I know. That is the thing.
Like, what are we teaching?
Right. Yeah.
Like, we didn't know Oppenheimer made a bomb that was very, very controversial.
Right. Well, yeah.
But
when
he
they
was
were
torn.
when they were getting ready to test it, is like, I don't know, we might just ignite the atmosphere. We're not sure. So, that's
Yeah. But go ahead.
Yep. Let's try it anyway.
That's what we do. You don't know unless you do it.
That's right.
They obviously weren't that concerned. They weren't that far away.
Right.
I'll tell you what. Have you seen the trailer?
At least pieces of it.
Did you see the CGI and stuff for the bomb in the when they were getting ready to do the test?
I don't recall.
It was pretty wild. It was like, I'm pretty sure it didn't look like that.
Okay.
Like, it was all like cha-chunk, 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 right before it drops. I'm like, yeah, it didn't do that.
Huh.
Looked like a transformer for a second.
Oh, I do know there were mechanical bits to it, but
Yeah, I'm sure there were, but it didn't look like that.
Okay. I don't recall seeing that part, so.
They definitely sweetened it.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, they sweetened it. That's all I'm saying. Like, come on, this is the 40s. Nothing looked like a transformer in the 40s.
Right.
But yeah, okay. Disengage from the rabbit hole.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's so we got Ahsoka. We don't know when we'll see anything else after that. It's all going to be dependent on these strikes.
Right.
It's basically what we're getting at. I kind of chuckle because they just had Celebration not long ago, and they announced all these new projects.
Oh yeah, I know.
It's like, derails.
Exactly. I mean, well, that was the talk during Celebration, right? It was like, okay, you're announcing new stuff again that probably isn't gonna happen again, and it's like, strike. No, it's definitely not happening now. So okay.
Ha! Told you.
Exactly. They already delayed the release dates for movies because of it, and it's like, oh well, yeah. I could just see them at Lucasfilm, right? They're like, man, we just announced all these movies. Hey, there's a strike. Oh, phew, thank God. All right, we can delay that stuff.
I didn't think of it that way. All right. So, okay. There's another thing going on, which we didn't discuss beforehand. It's not even on the agenda here.
Ooh.
Kathleen Kennedy.
Yeah.
So after Indy 5, it all fired back up, right?
Oh yeah.
Like, she's out.
Yeah.
Now, I'll say again, I doubt it.
Right.
I doubt it. I just don't see them doing that. But I gotta ask the question at this point: how many CEOs, even below, even low-level management,
Right.
how many could have this performance and stay employed?
I don't know. It is interesting that she's able to withstand all this, isn't it? I mean,
It is. It's it's a testament to something. I don't know what, but it's a testament to that. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
because yeah, it really doesn't make much sense to me.
Right.
I think a lot of CEOs and what's her position? President of whatever. I don't think they withstand this.
Right.
This is quite the beating.
Yeah. It's, I don't know. It is hard to fathom how I just, I don't know. Some of the decisions that have been made are, how do you put it? They seem to be heading things monetarily for the company in the wrong direction. And you would think,
well, they're talking about selling their streaming property. So yeah, it's not heading the right way.
right. So it's like, you would think a course correction in what we're doing would be in order here, but it doesn't seem like that's the case. So
no, it's mind-boggling.
right.
I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the charisma, with the way she kind of has a stage presence at these conventions and things like that to announce new stuff. Like, I don't know. Because the box office performance is definitely not there.
Right.
I don't know if she's still riding off the success of the sequel trilogy. And I use those terms.
Yeah.
I mean, so financially they were a success.
Yes, there's no doubt. But that would also have a lot to do with, the fan base being like, okay, I started this journey 40 years ago or whatever, I'm going to see it through, There was some.
Well, I hate to throw you OT fans under the bus.
No, you don't.
I do. I do. You're my Star Wars brethren,
right?
All right. But
what's up, bro?
Huh?
Nothing. Go ahead.
What'd you say?
So what's up, bro?
But like, think about, it didn't happen immediately. Like episode 1. Initially, it's great, but then as you got time in between 1 and 2, it starts to fall apart, right? So the OT fans are starting to get a little annoyed. Jar Jar Binks and like this and that. Okay, so it starts to fall apart. Episode 2 happens. There's the initial rush, and then it starts to fall apart. Sand, really, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
Like all these things that like, okay, I'm angry. And then you get episode 3. Episode 3 is the rebound. Like it's not as much anger anymore. It all comes together. A lot of the OT fans are now happy. I'm not going to say all.
Right.
But a lot. Once the story's complete, there was satisfaction.
Sure.
But along the way, there were bumps.
There always is.
I think the same thing. Huh?
There always has been.
Right. But I think the same thing, if you ask OT fans, there were no problems with the original trilogy. It was success after success after success.
Wrong. I mean.
Oh, it's wrong.
No.
It's definitely wrong.
As an OT fan, I could tell you right now, I still cringe every time I hear Luke say, I was going to go to Tashi Station. It's like,
right.
Come on. Every era of Star Wars has its, road, stumbling blocks for sure.
Well, that's why I love hearing Empire is the best Star Wars. Because when Empire came out, it wasn't the best Star Wars. Right. Empire is the best Star Wars for a lot of people in hindsight because you got the whole story. But at the time, it definitely wasn't.
Yeah.
So, but I think that's what happens with the sequel trilogy, right? Got your complaints after The Force Awakens, but it's all right. The next one will build on it. Then you get that middle one.
Yep. That middle one, yes.
And everybody's like, okay, all right, this is not going the direction I thought. I mean, what did they do to Luke Skywalker?
Right.
They're going to fix it.
Where's my pitchfork? Exactly.
And then you get this nostalgia ride that is The Rise of Skywalker. And it just, what the hell? And now you're dealing with that aftermath. You got to ride the, oh, it's gonna make sense once it's done, train for those films. And then it didn't.
Right.
It just didn't. I'm sorry. Like,
Okay.
it didn't in a way the other two trilogies did. You didn't get that closure, that completion, that it just, there's still too many questions.
Yeah, absolutely. The sequel trilogy, from my personal point of view, left way too many loose ends flapping out in the breeze. We talked about one before we started recording, right? Maz Kanata, the lightsaber.
Mhm.
That's a story for another time. What time is that going to be? Because I'd like to know, I mean, that kind of stuff. That kind of stuff is just like, man, are we going to wrap up anything like really that we started here? That's probably the biggest flaw in the sequel trilogy for me. There was I don't know. Maybe a lack of focus. I don't know.
Well, I mean, we had to wait a while to find out about the Clone Wars.
Yes. While that is true,
I'm just playing devil's advocate.
No, I get it. And what you're saying is valid, but that statement in A New Hope didn't need to be fleshed out to move the story along.
Well, first off, when it happened in A New Hope, there wasn't even a guarantee that there was going to be another movie.
Exactly. But all of that being said, that statement was just moving the story along, and you didn't need to know all about the Clone Wars. You had enough. I mean, that's the beauty part of the way George Lucas told a story, right? Is, you fought in the Clone Wars? Okay, apparently there was these wars, called the Clone Wars, and, Obi-Wan fought in them. Okay. And that was it, and it moved the story forward. Whereas
I will say
this whole lightsaber thing is like, oh my God, where did Luke's lightsaber come from? How does, this bar owner have it in a little box in the basement? I mean, come on. That none of that made sense because last time we saw it, it was in his hand falling down a shaft,
Right.
That's, I don't know.
That's one resilient lightsaber.
Yes. Yes, it is. Rip it in half, put a Band-Aid on it. We're good. All right. Just saying.
Yeah, not only that, but you can shadow pass it.
Oh yeah, there is that. Is that the name for that? For what they did there?
No.
Okay.
No, I just made it up.
I like it. It's good.
Ugh.
Now, I will say that right there, however they came to being able to do that, whatever.
For Skype.
Yeah, for Skype. Yeah, material objects.
That's the future.
That, as weird as it is,
Sure, Microsoft would strike over it, but
right. I thought it, is it fitting for someone of Skywalker lineage to be using it at that point, yes. So, I like that, but
Well, I'll just say this. I mean, the tone was set, right? You gotta keep advancing these force abilities. Like
true.
it was George Lucas did it himself,
Yes.
and he advanced them going back in time. So, like,
yeah, I guess, okay.
well, no,
As far
I
as,
mean,
like,
you had
lightsaber
the original
battling and
trilogy,
stuff?
and then you go to the prequels, and he had advanced force ability.
As far
like-
as like the fights and stuff.
Yeah.
That's
The fights, the way they can move, like all those things.
You know, that was
and
technology in
the
movies.
easy explanation there is like, well, that technology just wasn't there in '77.
Exactly.
You know, like
Exactly. But
if it was, you'd have done it.
exactly.
And if you watch Light and Magic, you'll see George Lucas would have done that.
Oh yeah.
This guy had crazy goals.
Now, when you look at it from another angle, point of view,
That's what we do, right? We
yes.
just look at everything different point of view.
I do think it's funny that the newbies, the younger characters, all of a sudden have all this ability to do this stuff in the sequels that, those in the prior films could not. Passing a lightsaber, shadow passing.
Yep.
So, yeah. That kind of stuff has a little eyebrow raising.
Yeah, without any real training.
Exactly. That's the kicker part for a lot of people,
I still think that scene was well executed.
Sure.
Yeah, like, I mean, he gets it and then he does that shoulder shrug.
Yes. Yeah. Hey, it's me. Yeah.
What do you know?
Yeah.
I thought that was perfect. That was just Star Wars humor without saying any words.
That was very good. Yes, because that takes you right back to Han Solo on Endor. Hey, it's me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's his son.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Yes.
So well done. Even though getting there was a little weird.
Right.
Not complaining, just it was strange. Huh. Force is getting you almost kind of got to wonder, like, did it just get stronger with age? Like the Force is older, so
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, or is it the? I don't know.
No, I was being facetious again.
No, I get it, but is it the lack of the regimentation and stuff that the younger, newer characters?
Oh yeah, they were just more creative.
Right. So they could think outside the box because they weren't stuck in a box to begin with, right? Maybe.
Could be.
I mean, totally given the storyline the benefit of the doubt here, that could be a way to look at it. So,
without a doubt. I think it definitely I think what changed the game for that is the Clone Wars.
okay.
Right? The world between worlds stuff, like
Oh, yeah.
this bending time and dimension and like all that stuff. That changed the game for the Force.
Right.
And then like once you do that, and I understand it's animation and not everybody's seen it, and that's what makes it weird for so many people. But I think once you do that, it's endless. How do you build on that? You can go back in time, like
Right.
so, and it's looking like we're gonna get another taste of that.
Yeah, I'm thinking so too.
So I guess that leads us right into
Yeah. Whatever could you be talking about, Joe?
yeah, whatever. I would hope if you've been listening this long. So I mean we're what, less than a month away?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
For Ahsoka. So Ahsoka, we got the final trailer. There's a lot of hints. This just scenery wise,
Right.
that this world between worlds stuff is still
It's in play.
very, very prominent in her story,
Right.
which makes sense. She's kind of alive because of it.
Yeah. Kind of. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, right. Kind of. No, she's alive because of this.
Yes.
So it makes sense that it would be part of her story. Where was I going with this? I have no idea.
I don't know. Hints of stuff in the trailer.
Yeah, I had a point I was making with that, and I lost that. So that's what it is. But the final trailer, or I guess it's not final. It was the first full-length trailer, right?
No, I don't think so. I think it does say the final trailer, I believe.
Oh, does it?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. What do you think of that?
Well, I mean, it's a lot of stuff we saw in the other trailer, and you know, there's little things to pick up on, you know. You know, just from what I've seen, I'm excited for this. You know, I do get a Rebels vibe from it, though. Totally. You know.
Oh,
I
what gave you the Rebels vibe?
yeah. Well,
Like,
everything.
Sabine, Hera,
Yeah.
Chopper,
Right.
Ahsoka. Is that it?
Well, there's all that, but I mean, it's the stuff that.
I'll say this. I don't want to be this guy,
Okay.
but I'm just going to ask the question.
Okay.
How do I do this without being that guy? Because I don't want to be that guy. Like, but I got to ask.
Yeah.
Are we just so in girl power mode right now that, okay, we're going to have a Rebels reunion, but it's only going to be Hera, Sabine, and Ahsoka.
Well,
We're going to have Ezra on Hollow. Zeb's still nowhere to be seen.
I gotta say, I really hope that they are holding Zeb in their back pocket and not letting us see it. But
we saw Zeb first. Like, it's not a reveal.
Well, for the show it would be.
I guess.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we've seen Zeb. We know that he's doing other stuff, but I would love to see them bring him back in.
Like, I just worry that it's they're so blinded by this that I just worry about that.
Well,
like that could hurt, right? Like you got a character that you put out over here. Okay.
Well, let me.
You want to know why this concerns me?
I think I know actually, but go ahead.
The reason this concerns me is because you feel that it is the right time to reveal Grand Admiral Thrawn in a trailer.
Right.
A trailer.
Right.
That's our Thrawn reveal?
Yeah.
Come on.
Okay.
So your big surprise after revealing Grand Admiral Thrawn in the trailer is going to be Zeb?
Well, okay.
That's where my concern comes from. It's just that kind of thinking. It's more driven by the fact that you are going to reveal live action Thrawn in a trailer.
Right. Okay. I see your point there.
I would have been fine with leaving it like the. I guess I'm not even fine with you leaving it as him walking, from behind him.
Oh, okay.
That shouldn't have even been done.
Interesting.
Because everything we've seen so far is like, where's Thrawn? Where's the talk of Thrawn? And he's back in the trailer?
Right.
Like, come on.
Well, it's funny. They've done a lot of this in these trailers already. Okay. They've dropped a lot of stuff on us just in these trailers. Okay. Anakin, we've seen already. Okay. Sabine calling Ahsoka master, which is, apparently she's training.
Thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's all of that stuff probably would have been better left as a reveal in the show. Yeah.
Well,
agreed.
Here's another thing that, to my other comment. So, Kanan training Sabine in lightsaber combat.
Yep.
Didn't realize she had some force ability.
Right. Maybe he did, though.
Did he?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, maybe we have to go back to those episodes to see if we can pick up on something now that we didn't pick up on.
Well, now we got something to do for next week.
There we go. I like that. That's a good thought.
So we need to go back. Is there any hint in those episodes that Kanan sees force ability in Sabine?
Right.
Because I really, really want to know.
Yep.
Because I find it hard to believe that this guy can recognize force talent in Ezra.
Right.
But an accomplished fighter like Sabine, yeah, you can see her ability using various weapons, things like that. You can't pick up on her force ability, but you can pick up on it on this little street rat.
Right.
So.
And I got to say, I understand where you're coming from with your thoughts on the way things are looking here. And I'm sure this could feel very, girl powery to a lot of people.
And like I said, I don't want to come across that way. I don't care.
I understand where you're coming from with not wanting to come across that way. I get it. To me, to most people who have seen Rebels, it probably doesn't feel that way necessarily. But to anybody who has not seen Rebels, it might come across that way. You know what I mean? It's like I said, it feels very Rebels to me, right? And you're kind of like, duh, it's kind of Rebels. And it is. But
right.
It's also, for someone who hasn't, it's like, okay, so like every good guy that we're seeing in this trailer is like, yeah, it's a woman, pretty much, which.
Right. But my point would be Thrawn's back.
Right.
Ezra seems to not be.
Right.
Zeb is MIA.
Right.
But I guess the big one is Thrawn's back. Ezra seems to not be. What the hell?
Well, I'm sure we'll find out.
Yeah, you're right. We'll find out. But I mean, that's the impression that you're going to get from this.
Yes.
It seems like, this guy can make it back, but the guy that was his traveling companion can't. It's.
Yeah, the guy who's the Force wielder. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's just strange.
It is strange. There's no doubt.
And like I said, I don't want to be that guy because I don't want to look at Star Wars that way. I don't want to be. What's the word? I guess I'll just use the word. I don't want to be corrupted by this general consensus out there right now that this is the way things are.
Right.
I don't want to feel that way.
Well, yeah.
I just don't.
Everything's put into the it's put into that kind of light one way or the other.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're going to go out there and dive into this in the mainstream, you're going to get into that light one way or the other, no matter what.
Exactly.
Damn.
And
everybody just got to fight anymore.
How about we just wait and see how good the story is? That's what I think.
Right. But it just, I mean, the trailer just felt that way to me, like, and I guess the big thing for me was I'm still irritated. Like, really, this is how you reveal Thrawn?
Yeah. Well, I get it.
I mean, hell, the Bad Batch episode where I was saying that empty chair was totally Thrawn's, that it would have been perfect for him to show up there.
Right.
And then you can show him in a live action trailer and I wouldn't have given it crap. Because you already brought him back.
Yeah. Honestly, the best reveal, in my opinion, where I think it could have made the most sense in a storyline, would be in that meeting the Moff Gideon had with the other heads of the Imperial factions.
Oh, yeah, if he just would have stepped in.
If he'd have just stepped into the hollow feed and was like, I am back, Grand Moff, And then that could have made Moff Gideon going off on his, battle armor tirade thing more relevant, like now this is his last chance to try and seize power because Thrawn's back, That would have made more sense to me. And if he was back, I don't know, I guess with what we've already seen in the trailer, where they had to throw the heir to the Empire line in there, I heard rumors Thrawn's coming back,
As heir to the Empire.
I think there was some sort of storyline that needed to be told there. So apparently you couldn't bring Thrawn back in Mandalorian for that.
Hey, have they released all the names of these Dark Jedi?
Of the characters?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
I don't have them in front of me.
Because I think that's what they're kind of revealed as, right? Dark Jedi. They're not Sith. They're not Jedi.
I believe that is correct, and that it's also got to do with I've heard Filoni talking about even the lightsabers looking orange instead of red. He
Right.
got the inspiration off of the original poster because Vader's lightsaber was kind of orange there, but he's also thought this is kind of like almost a non full conversion, right? So
Middle ground,
yeah,
but still bad.
right, exactly. So
They say they didn't announce him as Grays.
no, so the dude is Balin and Shin. Oh, they say are Sith Lords. This is off of Collider. I don't know,
Oh, so yeah, whatever.
but that is their names.
They can't be Sith Lords.
Balin and
That would
Shin.
blow up the whole story.
Right. Maybe pretenders, though.
Yeah.
To the Sith.
It just can't be Sith Lords because they're
Right.
not of the Sith line. Like, that would just ruin everything.
Exactly. I do believe there's a name for that Inquisitor looking dude too, but I don't know. I don't have that in front of me.
I thought that was listed as an Inquisitor.
I don't. Not sure.
I don't know. We could be dealing with so many different timeline things here, and
Exactly. Yeah. That's true, because that is one thing that I bet this show's going to do. In fact, I believe it's kind of come out that the first episode, I guess, maybe first, second, I don't know, is going to be kind of like a let's get everybody up to speed on what's going on here kind of thing.
Yes, double episode, right? Like, so
Yep.
2-episode premiere.
Yep.
I don't know. No matter what I say, no matter what complaints I have, I am more excited for this show than I have been for any of them. Hands down.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you said that, because, this could probably come across as some people like, geez, you don't even like it. It's not even out yet. But no, really, I'm with you. Very excited for this show.
Like, there has not been. I'll say this: I am more excited for Ahsoka than I was. I can't say for The Force Awakens, because The Force Awakens is, you can't beat that excitement.
Right.
You just can't top that. This was Star Wars coming back.
Yep.
If I were to put it in a hindsight situation, having seen The Force Awakens, I'm more excited for Ahsoka than I am for any post-Disney Star Wars project.
Right.
But I can't do that, because The Force Awakens was the first. That was the most exciting. But this is second, no matter what.
Right.
Like, as much as I loved Rogue One, I was not as excited for Rogue One as I am for Ahsoka.
Well, that's for sure. As much as I like Rogue One now, I was not going into it with the same expectations as I was for The Force Awakens, for sure.
No, and the whole premise of Rogue One, I was super pumped for.
Sure.
Super pumped. But this is Ahsoka.
Yes.
And I made the girl power comments like it's totally a bad thing. Like, Ahsoka's probably one of my favorite characters in Star Wars. So
yeah.
So I'm definitely pro girl power when it comes to Ahsoka.
I will say, and I've been on the other side of this discussion when we've had Hunter on. You and Hunter have both been, Team Ahsoka, rah rah, and where I've been a little more, stuck in the old ways, I guess. When we're talking about, favorite characters and all. Luke being my favorite, I guess, but dude, Ahsoka is right up there for sure. So
right,
excited for this show, absolutely. I'm ready.
Oh yeah, I mean I can't wait to get Hunter back on here for all this stuff, because
I know.
Yeah, that's my other Team Ahsoka friend there.
Right.
Yeah, we're totally Team Ahsoka. But I can't even say we got into it. I guess we did get into it in a different way. The Clone Wars being the prequel trilogy fans, right?
Right.
And I guess Hunter's even closer to being the Clone Wars generation, right?
Yeah, but I can tell you firsthand, his first exposure to Star Wars was OT.
Yeah, I mean, so was mine.
Yeah.
It was my first exposure. But my first exposure in the theater was the prequels.
Yeah.
So I think that puts me firmly in the prequel generation.
He would have been a little young
Because
for
it's
that.
just, huh?
He'd have been a little bit young for that.
Right. That's why I said I think he leans more towards the Clone Wars generation.
Yeah.
You know, getting that brand new, fresh Star Wars experience.
Yep.
That was Clone Wars for him.
Yep.
Whereas for me, it was prequels because, and that's even different from the Clone Wars generation because seeing Star Wars in the theater is just different.
Oh yeah.
It's just different. And like even the sequel films that we like to bag on.
Yep.
Seeing them in the theater, they hit a lot different than watching them at home.
There's no doubt.
Watching them at home, those ones really kind of fall flat.
Yeah.
In the theater, they hit decent.
Yes.
But at home, they fall flat. Whereas the other ones, even at home, they still kind of grab some of that magic.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna wrap this around into everything that we've been talking about here then, because my original trilogy experience, I was young, so I don't have a good recollection of it. I was real young. But when the prequels came out, okay, there was a different energy in the theaters, okay? You recall people standing in line around the corner around at the theater waiting to get in to go see Star Wars.
Right.
With the quote-unquote theater technology now where you buy your tickets on your phone ahead of time, reserve the seat you're going to be sitting in, you don't get that anymore.
No.
So all of that, part of the experience used to be hanging out in line with other fans excited to go see it. If it's your second showing and someone else's first, trying not to spoil them while you're discussing stuff and all that, it's all part of the experience that has gone away, so
Yeah,
so everything changes, just to take it back to our original topic.
Well, yeah, my most recent experience with dealing with, standing in line with a crowd, episode 1 3D.
Oh, okay. Yep.
When that happened, you had that still, it was less.
Right.
It was less than it was for the prequel trilogy.
Right.
Because I remember going to Revenge of the Sith, dude. That night was crazy.
Yes.
Because you knew this was the wrap up of this part of that. Like,
absolutely.
That one was nuts.
Yep.
But episode 1 3D was my last experience with standing in line and talking to other people. When I went to The Force Awakens, I did it. My first viewing was the old fashioned way. I went to a showing. I stood in line.
Really?
I was one of 10 people standing in line.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm getting at. Yeah.
10 people.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
nuts to me.
I know.
I couldn't believe that happened the way it did.
It's
really?
amazing. It's amazing that, there was only 10 people standing in line, right? But the theater was still full, wasn't it?
Oh, theater was packed.
Right. So it's just different now. That's what I'm getting at. I recall.
It was different. Like when I went to see Revenge of the Sith, right?
Uh-huh.
By the time the previews were coming on, we were all packed in the theater.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Right.
And even for the previews, it was like a raucous crowd.
Yes, absolutely.
The excitement was building. The lights go out, it's going nuts.
Yep.
Like that kind of. And then now it's like, and you know what? I venture to say this is part of what's killing cinema, but I'm not even going to venture to say it. I'm just going to say it.
Yeah.
It's part of what's killing cinema. Is this you can just pick a time, go when it's convenient, like do that, do it from your phone.
Right.
You don't have to wait in line. There's no excitement. There's no, am I going to get in? You know, all that kind of stuff. That's all gone.
Right.
So it's kind of technology hurting that in a way. Not only that, but you're able to see reviews because people are seeing early screenings and stuff before the movie even comes out. That's hurting it too.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I mean, there's even, what's the score on Rotten Tomatoes, right? Do I want to even go see something, all that kind of stuff.
When the movie comes out on Thursday and you can check that on Wednesday, that's a problem.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I recall driving by theaters, opening weekend, but, Sunday, and there's still a line. And, people I was with couldn't believe that it was still for Star Wars. It's like, yeah, it's still for Star Wars. That's what Star Wars does for theaters, and
you want to know what's funny? We were talking about this. My last experience standing outside of and I'm going to use the term theater.
Yeah.
We're standing outside a theater to get inside to see a show.
Uh-huh.
You know what my last experience standing in line was?
What's that?
The Lion King.
Really?
Broadway.
Uh-huh. Okay, I thought you were going to go there. Yep. So it was a Broadway show.
So
it makes sense.
I mean, and still, this was all pre-purchased tickets.
Sure.
But it's different with the Broadway show. You want to get in. You want to get your stuff. You want to, merchandise, seats, like all this stuff.
Absolutely.
The movies for cinema versus cinema's lost it.
Right.
It's lost. The experience is gone. It's
the only part of it that's still the same is actually watching the movie.
Yeah.
But the experience as a whole has changed.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes. Yeah, I was blown away by that. I get there. I was like, I want to get there early and get some snacks, get my seats established and all this stuff. And I'm like, wow, there's a line? We all got tickets.
Right.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
Come on, people. It's the Lion King. You've seen it.
Yeah. It's not supposed to work like this anymore. Yeah.
But it was great. It was a great feeling.
Sure. Absolutely.
It was a great feeling.
Part of an experience. Yeah.
Yeah. And, me, like, I'm standing there. I'm like, well, I got to talk to people.
Right.
Which drives Kat nuts.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey.
Drives her nuts. She's like, how do you do that? How do you just talk to random people? I was like, I don't know.
They're standing there.
What else
Why not? Yeah, exactly. Talk to somebody.
Oh, man. Yeah, I miss that. I miss Star Wars waiting in line.
Right.
That cinema experience. That was special. We'll never see that again. It's unfortunate.
I have a feeling you're right, but one can hope. Hopefully with the strike and with what's going on in the industry, maybe they can make something turn around. Maybe I don't know. I doubt it. I'm not gonna hold out hope for it, but maybe they'll realize that
it's about to show.
Yeah, that all of that, it's the spectacle. Bring back the spectacle, right? Maybe Ahsoka can lend to that. I mean, there's Star Wars movies in the works. Maybe there's something. Well, I mean, Filoni's going to have his wrap up movie, and maybe he'd be smart enough to bring all that back together, this movie, tickets will be sold first come, first serve.
Yeah,
That'd be
I doubt it.
amazing. I know, but
I doubt it. It'd be great.
yeah,
It would be great. Like, I know it sounds inconvenient. I know any of our younger listeners would be like, "That
Right.
sounds dumb."
yeah, exactly. But
Yeah,
it is an experience.
it is. It was something else, man, and the energy was different, and I think that's the biggest thing.
Right.
You know, the energy was, I will say, the energy for The Force Awakens. It was still good,
Right.
but it wasn't the same
Right.
because you didn't stand out there in line. You didn't have that time for anticipation to build. There was no anxiety on if you were going to get in.
That's the thing
You know,
I
like-
remember. It's like, okay, I'm hoping to get into the 10 o'clock show. If not, I guess I'll try and get into the 11 o'clock show. You know, it's like,
Right.
this playing
But
on,
like
yeah,
that anxiety, it built on that excitement because you did get in.
right.
So like you're worried that you weren't, like, especially if you got there a little later and you're like looking at the line and you're like, crap, how big is this theater?
Exactly.
And you're like trying to do rough math in your head, like,
Oh, yeah.
am I too far back? You don't know how many seats are in there, but you feel like you got a rough idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
And trust me, and when you were doing that, it was always less than where you were at.
Right.
Like it was always less than where you were at. You're like, crap, I might not get in. And then you make it through the what we call it back then. I guess you call it the box office attendant now, right?
Right. Right.
You make it through there and you're like, holy crap,
Exactly.
I get to watch this.
Yes.
So like that just built on that excitement because you were amazed that you got in, and then you're already excited for the show to begin with. So
Yep.
yeah, it was different. It was different. One of those times where technology ain't so great.
Right.
Convenient, sure. And I take part, right? Like
Oh, we're all guilty.
I
that's
bought
for
my
sure.
tickets in advance.
Yep.
But you know what's funny? Is every single movie release since, you know, the new era of Star Wars. I bought my tickets in advance. I was still there early.
Right.
Just out of curiosity.
Yep.
Just to
Absolutely.
see if there was that other person there waiting in line with me.
Right.
And every single time I wasn't 100% disappointed because there was, 10 people, a dozen people, whatever.
Sure.
And I feel like they were in the same mode I was. They wanted to talk to other Star Wars fans. So
Yes.
it was still fun, but it wasn't the same.
There wasn't 200 people milling about outside the theater. Yeah.
No. Where you're like, saving spots so someone can go to the bathroom.
Yeah, exactly.
but you're like clearing it with everyone around you. Like, is it cool? Is it cool?
Right.
I miss that. Well, I guess this was the Memory Lane podcast.
Yeah, apparently.
Well, if you have anything to add, you can always email us, show@thewarsandmore.com. That's the best way to get a hold of us. We're also on social media at The Wars and More on Twitter, facebook.com/thewarsandmore. You can find all that and all the ways to find a show over at thewarsandmore.com. Any final thoughts this week, Doug?
No, I think we've covered everything there was.
All right. Hopefully we'll talk next week.